over here in the lower bracket. First round. And potentially go up against Alliance. I'm Toby1. I'm joined here by Andy Draskell Styles. That sounds really odd introducing you like that. I don't know about that. We're not going to do that again.
That's all right. I mean, most people I know actually just call me Andy anyway.
Uh,
Like nobody I know in person actually calls me Draskell. That seems weird.
Weird. Because normally I only call you Draskell. That must be very odd for you. All right.
I mean, it's fine. Everyone has their own their own thing. You know, some people feel more comfortable calling me Andy. Some people call me Draskell. Some people call me Dad. So yeah,
Yeah,
you
well,
just you're not gonna make me awkward. Is basically what I'm saying.
unshakable. Yeah,
Yep.
don't give people that challenge. They would be very willing to accept that challenge to make you shakeable.
Dude, I lived in a house with James for the last 5 years.
Okay, good point. Yeah, you're done. You're good. Nothing can shake you. There is no greater test a man can put himself through. Apart from maybe the second game of Dota. A segue, so smooth. In we
Well
go.
played.
Centaur, Druid, Alchemist. ES has made it into the early ban phase, but the Keeper of the Light is back again, and Ninjas in Pajamas have gone for their staple Ogre Magi instead of running this roaming Earthshaker. We'll have the Ogre
I'm a
back.
much bigger fan of the Ogre opening than the Night Stalker. Like the Night Stalker was an idea, but then they threw in the Earthshaker with it, and then it's just, oh god, it's so hard actually to run those two heroes together. Plus the safe lane Slark, when they protected their Lifestealer pick so well, they pretty much left Nip. I mean, they had a couple of options, I guess. They could have went for like a TB or something, I guess, that wasn't banned. But they went for the more, I guess, era-centric hero, which I'm not sure how much he's played TB in the past. But yeah, I think the draft in last game, Bears, is just way better. So this time around, they're going to go with something a little bit more stable, open up with the Ogre Magoo, see what they want to get for the second pick.
Yeah,
Now, they usually pick Quake this hero in the first two, right? Like, almost exclusively.
I don't know if you really want to do that in this game.
Oh, they're not going
And
to.
they're not
Okay.
going to in this game either. They picked the Nyx. They needed the counter to the Invoker and the Coddle. Like that was
Yeah.
the bigger thing they needed. Because I'm just wondering how they repel this kind of damage. If you do end up having like the Beastmaster Call they ran before, what happens if Bears picks up the Rubik or Slider still available in the pool? That's another crush. That's amplification. That's a lot of burst damage into a target where you can even have Invoker throwing that damage from the mid. It's so two insanely tanky heroes for Ninjas in Pajamas to start with.
Yeah, I like the Nyx. Again, it's kind of the same thing as a Night Stalker, except in this game it actually does good against both heroes. Like Invoker mana burn is really annoying. Like you can very easily get Carapace stun during fights because pretty much all the time Invokers are going XR and dropping meteors and whatnot. So it's very easy to utilize your chain disables. It seems to be that these types of heroes like Nyx have just fallen off a bit because there's so much 5-man Dota that like scouting for information, which is what Nyx used to be great at once you hit 6, even if you can't actually get a kill, you would at least be, telling your team the movements of the enemy and whatnot. It's just that it's so often that their heroes are always together that you kind of just get in these situations where you're like, well, I'm just going to buy Midas because I'm not doing anything anyway, right?
That's what we saw the Nyx from Secret do.
Yeah.
That's what Poppy ended up transitioning into as well. Like it's the Spike Carapace that's doing more of the work. The Spike Carapace and Impale is now set up by Spike Carapace.
Yeah, that's how it works, man.
A little bit disgusting. There's the Beastmaster ban I was looking for from Qualifier. He's not wanting to deal with that on the safe lane. He already got shut down pretty heavily on the safe lane. I'm not going to go through
Yeah,
that
I think
again.
that he's just asking his team, he's like, just give me like Clinks or something that just lanes so I don't have to worry about having like two supports babysit me 24/7. Interesting that Bears actually take out Naga.
They must be just worried about what anything NIP can do to stall up the game.
Well, Quakeva plays it, right? But Era doesn't.
I don't think it'll be much of an issue for Arrow to do it.
I don't know, though. It's one of those heroes where I feel like if you don't play it, it can be like a pretty big difference, yeah. That's the same support duo. I mean, it worked so well last game.
Yeah.
The rotations from Yapzor were on point. Adam pretty much got to his Aghanims at a timely fashion. He was able to pretty much do whatever. Yeah, if it works, don't fix it, right?
10 seconds remaining.
Sorry, I got distracted by something over on the side. I don't know why I just read that. I'm looking at Twitch chat. It's the worst thing in the world to do. Love you guys. Nip. Where do we go from here? So you're up against the Rubik and Coddle. you know you've got a lot of push power and counter push power from Bez. Do you try and force it as a full 5-man group up from NIP? Or do you give Hero his classic like Luna? It was banned in the last game. Do you try and grab something like this and just have a better 5-man ball that Bears can't deal with?
I'm actually wondering if they're gonna be looking to give Era something like the Lifestealer themselves this game. I mean, I don't know if they'll pick it now because they kind of have to get rid of the Ursa pick or whatever, or the Weaver. That's kind of how it set up Bears so well in the first game, because Nip banned Weaver as their last ban, and then Bears banned Ursa and then took Lifestealer. That's like the perfect situation for a Lifestealer to thrive. But this time around, I don't know if Nip are really like the super. Okay, they are gonna take it.
You got it.
The super 5-man oriented team, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Bears just go Weaver Ursa like straight up, because one of them's going to get banned almost assuredly. And they don't have Nyx is Trixie's hero, never mind. So they do have that. So they like Nip can't run Weaver and Lifestealer, I don't believe. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I like the Lifestealer pick a lot more though, because again, it's just a safety. Like giving Era something a little bit more stable that he'll be able to walk to lane with and not just get crushed, right?
Yeah.
And there's no Centaur this time either.
Yeah, he can rage when he sees the Illuminate coming, like he can dodge some parts of the damage or just have Feast give him the life back again. But then you wonder, like, okay, so how does Bears deal with it? Like, you mentioned the Ursa. Again, the Troll Warlord, I'm just going to flag quickly as another option.
I like Weaver a bit more.
Like Weaver?
Yeah, because high ground potential is a lot better. I mean, sure, you can abuse Roshan with Ursa, but I think that Weaver's just more flexible. You know, he doesn't have to worry about getting like a lane counter or anything like that. They're gonna go for that mag.
He has been the hero of heroes of late. Makes it almost impossible, right, for Nip to push high ground.
It's triple melee, right? Like triple melee heroes on Nip, and you can just last pick something that benefits from Empower, pretty much whatever you want.
Other way around, man.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh, okay. I see.
You mean triple melee heroes because Magnus can grab them, but yeah, the buffs.
Yeah,
the buffs are
triple
going.
melee because it's hard for those heroes to not group up. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, and then you're gonna push high ground with those 3 heroes, and then you're up against Fatebolt, Illuminate, Meteorite, Deafening Blast, Shockwave. Like you're never gonna have a creep wave sustained long enough in order to do the push.
Yeah, Bears really do like their wave clear. And I mean, a lot of that also, I think, has to do with the fact the Venomancer.
Okay, have you seen this?
Is it a Trixie Veno or is it an Era Veno?
It's a Trixie Veno. So what he does, and they only do this on Dire side. Sorry, not Trixie. It's a Hani Veno.
The jungle Veno. Okay,
it's the jungle Veno on the ancient / 2 camp spot, just northwest of the secret shop of the Dire side.
Yeah, I have seen this actually.
Yeah, and he'll farm up about 4 or 5 levels in just about 4 minutes by doing this. And there's no way Bears don't have a lineup that can contest this. So he's going to get a lot of free money and experience. Nothing's going to stop that.
Yeah, I like the Veno here quite a bit. It's also one of those things where, you know, one of the best things to deal with a tremendous amount of wave clear is either get your own wave clear, get pick potential, and just kill the heroes, or just have like this static defense. And that's kind of what Venomancer offers you. So, you know, Coddle's pushing out the waves, Magnus is pushing out the waves, and you just have this Plague Ward army sitting in front of a tower, and it makes it really difficult for Bears to just walk up and claim it. Whereas last game, they had almost no wave clear at all. And they were just getting shoved in every single lane all the time, and it was becoming increasingly difficult for like the Night Stalker and the Earthshaker who want to kind of roam around and find these picks to do it, because the lane equilibrium was just never favoring them. So they're always running around trying to deep push lanes and make things happen that way. But here we go, the Koikva Storm, the dream.
We'll see if it's a dream.
This is a hard Storm game, to be honest.
There's a lot of catch.
I play Storm periodically. I don't like playing against Coddle. I don't want to play against Rubik, and instant disables in general with RP and stuff like that, just not the most enjoyable experience. And the instant anti-mage. All right.
Well, there's
this is going to be a hard game.
An even bigger buff up coming in from the Magnus on top of the anti-mage. Invocal at the time of his life. Nip will still get a lot of experience out of this, however. Like, yeah, they're running a double melee safe lane with the Lifestealer and the Ogre. The next Assassin's going to have a hard time on the off lane, because then you can move the Coddle straight into like Mana League first, right? Just push the Nyx off the lane that way. I think it was Coddle as well as Dazzle, who were 2 of the heroes that were doing that very proficiently throughout the European qualifiers.
Yeah. This is gonna be tricky though for Nip because like Lifestealer and Storm only really deal with anti-mage when you're playing from ahead, and like you're saying, you got this jungle Veno, you're gonna have
10
really good
seconds
lanes in
remaining.
comparison to what you had in game one, no question. I don't think they're gonna get a triple lane
5
loss
seconds
like they did
remaining.
before. That's actually pretty hard to do. To pick to lose all three of your lanes, not easy. But this time around, I think it's gonna be a lot more stable for them. You know, Quakefa, maybe he gets to a timely Bloodstone, they make a couple of infest ganks happen.
Prepare for
There's
battle.
actually really two good targets for him. He's got Quakefa and he's got the Trixie Nyx as well. So there's going to be a lot of threat for these like squishy Rubiks and Invoker even and the Coddle on top of that.
I was wondering like what they would do to try and stop this. Yapsor smoked up and TP'd out. He's blocked the camp, which actually isn't required to do what Trixie does. Do what Honey does.
Well, the Ancients are the most EXP by far.
Yeah,
So,
because
or no, wait, that's
he
not.
puts the ward block about here and then farms this camp and this camp, and he'll
Yeah, I keep
and he'll
forgetting
stack,
that's not
he'll
the-
stack the ancients.
I always forget they switch those camps again, so the Ancients are actually on the low
Yeah.
ground. Keep
Yeah.
forgetting about that.
It's really crap to do though on Radiant side, because you look at the Radiant side camps, and all you can do is put the wards on the
30
bounty rune
seconds
and
to
then
battle.
farm that camp and that camp. You can't reach the ancients from there because of the wall,
No, you just cut the tree. You can definitely reach the Ancients.
and still farm it. Like,
Yeah, you can farm all three. You actually want to farm all three. The reason he didn't block the Ancients is because the Ancients are a lot harder, and with level 1 Plague Wards, you're not really going to be able to kill the Ancients. You kind of want like level 3 or 2 or whatever. It takes way too long.
Yapsor, if Trixie, he's not gonna level stun.
The battle begins.
Was looking towards it, but Hani got revealed for a second, and they know what he's doing. Like, he's got the Iron Talon, so at least they can keep tabs on him.
Yeah, I mean, they saw it and they immediately placed a ward there, so they clearly have an idea of what's happening.
Just wondered, like, is this really worth the vision? Like, Hani's left one of his own defensive observer wards down, so you block up the camp, sure, but now you lose vision for Firo. Like, the other observer ward's watching the top bounty rune, where it's a life sealer going 1-on-2 because the Keeper of the Light is up here. For now.
Well, you say that Firo loses vision, but realistically, you know, what is going to come his way that he's not going to expect? Like, Cinderin's going to sit here and throw ignites at him even if he had a ward. Like, that ward actually does nothing for him, whereas the defensive ward towards the bottom rune not only scouts the rune, but it makes sure that Hani's going to see any rotation from Yapsor that comes over here to try to soak EXP. So he'll actually know, you know, where the support is all the time, the support that can actually get a kill as well, because Firo's probably not going to get any help from a Coddle, and even if, you know, Adam did rotate towards mid, what's he going to do? Throws out a random mana leak and then walks away. So yeah, I think it is actually pretty much the best ward placement that they can have. But yeah, Yapsor, you can see him. He's there now. He's just trying to be annoying.
Yeah, but he can't go up. Like, now that, like, Hani's got level 2, yeah, the Plague Walls, he might be able to farm them, but the Poison Sting's going to keep him away, too. And Hani's just enjoying the farm.
It's not going to be quite as fast, but it'll still be alright.
Yeah. And Nera's having a save time up on top. I know this is one of the heroes which we saw, like Ramses would always play and would always come out on top of his lane just because of the innate, like, nature of the hero that you can find the farm. And then in middle lane, you got 11-4 Qualifier up against a 4-0 Invoker.
Well, he was playing against a dual lane for the first 2 waves.
Yeah. But it's the start that Qualifier was really looking for. Let's hear a Salve. It was, yeah, it was Fear. Thought it was Qualifier for a moment with the rotation from Cinderin. They have enough damage.
Nice.
First blood goes the way of NIP. Yapsor was trying to create space, ends up feeding.
Yeah, it's really hard for Rubik to function against these heroes. Like, high base armor on the Storm, high base armor on the Ogre. Heroes are actually both very durable, whereas both the Invoker and the Rubik are pretty frail, like 1 armor and 2 armor respectively. So you can't really trade that effectively, and trading with an Ogre in the first place doesn't really matter who you are. It's probably not going to favor you. And that's why I was mentioning, like, you know, Nip need to be playing from ahead with these heroes, especially against an anti-mage. You need to make sure that you're not becoming a liability to your team, being like this huge mana void target on the Storm, or, you know, the Lifestealer not just having the lockdown to be able to kill the hero. And this might turn into one of those games where there's going to be a lot of split pushing, because there's actually like 2 or 3 heroes on the side of Bears that can do it. Whereas, you know, Nip, they got like the Nyx to scout out and the Storm to get picks, and the Lifestealer, I suppose, to infest inside. But the Veno and the Ogre are pretty immobile by nature.
That's why you just move earlier. Hani's already up inside of his own jungle, and the haste rune that was grabbed by Rubik, he used to try and scout out where Hani is. But Honey's just enjoying the jungle for the moment. He'll be able to do something about this bottom lane. There's no mana on the Nyx Assassin. Obviously, he's up against an anti-base. You wouldn't expect that much.
Yeah, it's hard to kill him. Once he's out of mana, he actually takes a lot less damage. So it's kind of weird, the dynamic with some heroes. You know, Timbersaw is the same way. Sometimes people would pick anti-mage to just hit him a lot so he doesn't have mana to use spells. But then he just has so much armor and regen that you can't really kill him. Same thing here. Rubik support is not going to kill with an anti-mage on the offlane. So Trixie will end up getting a lot because of this.
And I'm still just watching this Venomancer get free farm. And when Hani does this, he waits till he gets Arcane Boots and then moves to bottom lane. And they just push the bottom tower. And up against an anti-mage, I'm wondering if there is a response beyond the Keeper of the Light rotating down there that's able to stop that push.
I mean, I don't actually know how much emphasis Nip are going to put on killing that safe lane tower. Like, their heroes aren't really that great for siege. They kind of need to wait for Hani, right? Like,
yeah.
Hani's the one, get level 7.
That's why he just gets, he gets the Arcane Boots, yeah. Arcane Boots, maybe level 7.
Yeah, if they go down there and start getting a Plague Ward army down, I don't think that Bears are going to be able to do much to stop it. I think they will probably just rotate out the AM and maybe, like you said, sit the Coddle down there and just have Fata go farm, like, top or mid or whatever.
But then you're going to rotate to, what? So if the Coddle goes down there, maybe you're a little bit concerned more about the Magnus.
I mean, they're not going to stop Forev from getting farm, but at the same time, he's not really hindering Era that much. This is even technically...
Trouble for Qualifier with that Sunstrike, a lot of burn damage. He needs more life to survive and just doesn't have it.
So close, actually. Who would have thought the 2 Exort meatball gets a kill?
With level 2 Fade Bolt behind it.
I mean, it doesn't seem like the scariest combination, right? But ends up working out.
And bringing down Qualifier, that's going to be a nice little addition. But at the same time, I'm still looking at the highest net worth or over on Ninja Pajamas, and it's the Venomancer.
Yep.
He's actually almost number 1 on the map, only topped by the anti-mage.
Well, I mean, he got the ancient stack as well, and you can see like they easily reach all 3 camps. He is not even cutting the tree; it doesn't even matter. So this is a strength of it, like getting all 3 in the same spot, because you kind of want the wards up all the time. You don't want to have to move from place to place because it really slows you down.
Yep.
And the ward did a little bit of work, but at the end of the day, Hani's still gonna get his levels.
Yeah. So what's he buying? So Magic Wand, he's buying up the raindrops. This is almost exactly the same as he did before, so this is just him looking to enter combat. But I wonder the lane he goes into. Like, if they try and shut down the Invoker, if they force the mid lane, Storm Spirit is approaching level 6, but he's not there just yet.
I think killing the safe lane tower is the best, or mid. I mean, mid's going to be harder to do, though. I think it's easier to take the AM safe lane tower than it is to go mid.
Yeah, he's headed down there. He's waiting for a moment. Maybe they're looking to trigger off the Shrine with Trixie. Or maybe not. Trixie's inside of Vendetta. So they could trigger it, give him his mana and his life up, and then move over to do something about Fada.
This is still a pretty hard kill. Maybe actually with... Oh, he doesn't have Gale. Never mind. I was going to say, if he has Gale, maybe they can do it, but...
Honey doesn't level up when he does this build. From here on out, he'll only go Poison Sting. He doesn't get the Gale till later.
Yeah, it makes sense. I just mean, like, in the sense that if you wanted kill potential, you would need Gale.
I think Yapsor's for a... Okay, yeah. Trixie's going inside, trying to body block up Yapsor, throwing him around. The Spy Carapace is worn off, and now Trixie has no protection. He's visible, he's got 6 charges, but with the Shockwave connecting, it won't be enough.
That was a very unfortunate first Vendetta gank.
He was
the
tracking
meatball actually
Yapsor.
didn't...
He was tracking
the
him
meatball hit him for like, what, like 1 second, and then it just didn't do any more damage, and they still got the kill. It was a nice rotation coming in there from Forev. Would not have killed him without the shockwave.
If correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Fada is actually using his dominant creep to try and clean up the Plague Wards.
Well, he's doing that, and he's eating the infused raindrop charges as well. He threw like 3 shockwaves already at Honey. It's an efficiency thing.
Trixie's on bottom lane now. Fada's still got his blink available, but the Sun's able to connect him with the Poison Nova. They still need the Poison Sting on him for him to go critical. Fada, the TP out, they see him, but the damage, it won't be enough. Fada, a straight TP home will survive. He'll lose his Sada. And that's probably all the effect Nip we're looking for.
That's money in the bank. I mean, the bigger thing here is that it puts him in a position to actually pressure the tower. Yapsor gets the cliff.
Get cliff,
Sorry,
bro.
TP.
Trixie's in the
He's
neighborhood, and yep. Syndrone's already TPing down. At the same time, Keeper of the Light's going to go down. Looks like a solo kill in favor of Era. And Storm Spirit's on the long jump to Qualifier. Burning a fair chunk of mana for that one, but remember, he's still got the Arcane Rune, so he'll jump up, avoids the skewer of Forev. And Trixie, now he's in trouble as well. Can't get his Impale off, will be mana voided down. But it's Fira who gets the last hit as the Invoker. But that's 4 heroes, the 4 remaining alive heroes that rotate mid to kill off the Nyx Assassin.
That was such a greedy mana void. Fata mana voided Trixie when he was missing like 150 mana to try to get the last hit. That is a true AM player at heart. Only use your mana void to get a last hit. He didn't even get it. I think, yeah, Fear ends up getting it. But still a lot more solid of an early game here from Nip, and it's reflected in the CS that they're actually getting during the laning phase. Like, the Lifestealer's only a tiny bit behind the AM, and Era also, I would say, had a much harder laning phase than what Fata did. And I think he's also going to be contributing to the fights a lot sooner. He's just going for the straight-up armlet. He's got that Storm ready to go with the Ball Lightning or the Nyx Assassin, you know, depending on whichever one he wants to invest into. But the thing that's, I guess, a bit alarming for Nip is the fact that Forev's going to have a blink at like 11 minutes. And that's pretty terrifying, especially once he starts getting in power. He can follow the AM around. Oh, stun's going to miss.
Yeah, Yapsol's jumping in, looking for that telekinesis follow-up stun. Yapsol's fine. He leaves a remnant of his own behind now. Stolen that.
Rubik remnants, by the way, way cooler than actual Storm remnants.
I want him to drop one now so I can see it.
They do like the same poses as the normal Storm remnants, but they just look like Rubik, so it's like 10 times better.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Trixie's going to find Fada farming up for the moment. A lot more support rotating down. This time Synderon's coming along with him. And as she starts buffing up Honey. Suppose when you got 4 points up in the Poison Sting, you're going to force down this lane as hard as you can. They're TPing in. So, say hello to Yapsor. He'll come down to the bottom lane with Illuminate and Fade Bolt plus Remnants. This was the issue we were flagging during the drafting phase. How is Nip meant to keep a wave alive in order to bring down a tower or any kind of objective?
They rely heavily on the pick. I mean, they've drafted around that, right? You don't take Nyx and Storm with a Lifestealer to not get pick-off kills. Like, if they get one hero down, like, even if it's Yapso or if it's, you know, Adam, I guess would probably be the best. But you kill either of them, and then you put the Plague Wards down, that tower is just gonna die. Unless they fully commit to defending it. And I don't think they would have before, you know, Forev has his blink. But we mentioned that he's very, very close to it now. On this wave, he would actually have it, but it looks like he's just gonna sacrifice himself and give it to Fata instead.
More fun for the Anti-Mage. How do you actually want to build the Anti-Mage as well? Like, it's obviously you still got to go Battle Fury, right? Even though you have the Dominator.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I've seen it both ways. Some people go to Manta before the Battle Fury, and then go back for the Battle Fury after the fact. Some people forego the Battle Fury completely and just go Manta straight Abyssal. I think.
Adam said.
Oh,
Goodbye 343. There's a jump back out. Trixie, they don't even need a stun. They use the open wounds. But they get that pick off. They remove one of the hindrances that's been stopping their push on bottom lane. But look at Hani. Look at his item. So I hate to take away from the Lifestealer. I want to come, not from Lifestealer, from the Anti-Mage. But he's already got mech on Hani at 11 minutes.
Yeah, dude, Jungle Veno. This is no joke. He farms incredibly fast. It's almost comparable to like Enigma farm, and that's insane.
Synderon's in trouble. Multi-stuns, cold snap. And just burnt down. There's another TP on the way. The bottom tier 1 tower's already taken is Hani. He'll TP into the mid. A lot of rotations coming up as well from Trixie as well as Era. They're going to hold this tower and just push them back. Fada, open wounds up. He's actually standing his ground.
He's got that Ogre Ice Armor, man.
Oh, Forev!
Cancel?
Yeah, he pulled out of that RP.
I think it's because he didn't actually turn when he RP'd. So like if he hit the RP and he was turned the proper direction, he could have just immediately skewered. But I think he got scared that he wasn't going to have the time to get behind the Lifestealer to skewer him back if he didn't do the proper turn RP.
Okay, so now we see how Bears deal with the D push that is Ninjas in Pajamas. Suppose that's one way to do it. Spike Carapace damage the Keeper of the Light down until he's dead.
I mean, it's got Tranquils, so
yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Just needs to give the opportunity for the Storm to jump. But Qualifier still needs more mana before he's capable of doing that. Even if he does get insanely lucky like he is, picking up Arcane after Arcane Rune.
Yeah, but Bears can't really, like, fight into this. It's really annoying for 4F too, because the more Plague Wards that are down, Like if Hani is actually sitting in the lane and dropping Plague Wards, I see almost no way where Forev is going to be able to get a good RP. Because you're either going to get hit by a random Plague Ward or you're going to get slowed after you go in and galed or whatever, and it's going to be really difficult for you to get out alive. And they just don't want to commit to that.
So they go to bottom lane instead. Quick jump away. Forev has to actually charge himself with the skewer fall because he misblinked. Got himself caught in the tree line. And Trixie may use this to his advantage. He knows Forev doesn't have his escape. Needs to attack. The stun's there with a pop out. RP is a fireball and Forev will commit it. Trixie kept this distance. And now what's actually stolen is the Impale. Stolen by Yapsor. Eero will get hit by this. And in comes Firo. Live Sealer needs a way out but has no rage. Had the armor off as well. Forev will escape on about 30 HP.
Man, that's super unfortunate. They would have got the mag if Trixie had mana burn, but he's... I don't know the standard Nyx build anymore from a perspective of, you know, pro play, but I think that most of the time when you're playing against supports like Rubik and Coddle, you would just go 4-1-1. But I can see like the second point in the carapace because it pretty much doubles the effective stun of the abilities, so not necessarily the wrong choice, but just an unfortunate one because he couldn't actually get the kill.
I think Yapsor actually messed himself up there in the mid lane. He did a telekinesis and tried to pull him back and then threw the impel and stunned him halfway through the telekinesis. He never hit the mark. So his Sunstrike also never connected.
The cast point, it gets you sometimes. You think, oh, it's going to take X amount of time for my stun to hit, but then you realize that you're Rubik and you have no cast animation, so it just instantly goes out and you're like, whoops, did it too fast. It actually happens a lot more than you would think.
Eero and Hani are teaming up to try and take out the top tower. Forever again is on the hunt, but he doesn't have RP available, and Hani is already TPing himself into the mid lane. As much defense as they can muster. Don't let him go. Blink, skewer, Synderen. Puts himself almost out of space, but dodges the hook. But the tower is still down.
Looks like Fato's going to go for the super greed here. He is going to go just the Battle Fury straight after the Helm of the Dominator. I guess it's more of it's a choice that you can make. It's like, if I want to fight, I'll buy the Mantha because I know I have the Empower. But if I'm just going to buy a Battle Fury and have Empower, I'll just be like 6 slotted in 30 minutes. Like that, maybe 35. But, you know, you get the idea. You just farm like a beast.
It's smoke gank time. Or is smoke push time, however you want to look at this. They leave an Observer Ward up, which is able to watch the rotation coming in from the Radiant jungle. And then Qualifier just has a little bit of pressure. You'll have Hani behind him. Remember, this is a push with a mech. I'm also looking at Hani's stash, and he is now 200 gold away from having a Veil for this Venomancer. That tick is going to start to hurt if you can also, like, get an Aghanim Scepter at some point. Mana will become his biggest problem. TPM. That's scouted out. Storm Spirit did put a Remnant down, but Yapsor picks him up. Sunstrike. Qualifier. He doesn't get out in time, or will he? He's so low. Qualifier can't ball lightning away. They've lost the Storm Spirit. Synderen starts up his TP. Mana Void will cancel that one if Vada actually had the mana for it. He didn't. They still get the extra one. Trixie on the back lines. Forever was able to isolate him. But RP's being committed.
Yeah, that's a really bad turn of events for Nip. They just got the Bloodstone on Quakefa, and he just dies straight up. Like, I've actually seen that happen so many times as Qualifier. Bloodstone gets Storm, or sorry, Storm gets Bloodstone, instantly dies. And then I'm just like, alright, well, that's 4 charges down. They're gonna go for the smoke up, though. Killing Fata, though, is so hard.
They know. Qualifier smoked out of vision of the smoke, out of vision of the Observer Ward. But Live Sealer jumped into him in vision of the Observer Ward. You're still going to find a target as Keeper of the Light who warded up. Synderen's got a Sentry Ward available, so they can maybe not realize that he did that. Oh, no. The ping is coming. It's like there is an Observer Ward here. But they're not sticking around.
Yeah, they really want to be able to take out the AM, but with the Ice Armor creep, like that thing is so OP. Look at him, no fear, just standing there, tanking the creep wave. Okay, 3 heroes might be enough.
If they can get the stun.
They actually need like every bit of damage though. There needs to be like a Vendetta hit and a follow-up stun, perfect like chain stun into a kill. That's like the only way.
Top lane's being forced. Hani's going for a wraparound, but there's no one that can TP in here. Even Forever's blinked out. The Gale will connect. Forever going to go invis with a Shadow Amulet. Synderen's here, but there is no Sentry Ward. So Forev is
He's
just
gonna die.
ticking. It's Nova, it's Poison Sting, and the
Yeah.
infest damage to ensure a quick and efficient kill, and a full Echo Saber for the Lifestealer.
Radiant's top
Yeah, they're getting the proper farm on all their cores. The consistent issue though is going to be, you know, Firo on his Invoker and then the AM as well. We haven't really talked much about Invoker because, as most AM games, whenever there is an AM, you talk a lot about him because it's, you know, if he has a good game, they can win. But yeah, Firo's just been kind of quietly doing his thing, and he's sitting pretty high up on the net. He's actually the highest over the AM, actually. This is an AM who has been receiving some empowers and just now finished a Battle Fury, so.
The full buff up AM, so yeah, you'll see the Invoker probably slip behind him.
Oh, I would imagine so,
Wow.
now that he has Battle Fury.
And does that put NIP on a clock? You got a
It-
lot.
it
You got a
kinda
lot of
does.
farm on 3 of their guys. The Nyx Assassin has now turned into a 4 roll, and he's just gonna go for Blink Dagger on this guy. But like, how does NIP actually end this game? That's kind of like my question mark now, because you've still got great. You guys still got great D push, and Father's gonna get really good farm. The pickoff's fantastic for them, and now you got Trixie walking under a sentry ward. He's
Yeah.
out of range of the observer for a moment. Or out-
Well, that's
out of
why
the
I was
creature for a
mentioning,
moment.
you know, early on, you want to be ahead with Nipstrap. You never want to be playing like this reactionary game against an AM and a split pushing Invoker 24/7. Like, that's not the game you want to play. I mean, Trixie, even at this point, is 20 minutes in. He's kind of struggling, to be honest, because the one downside of having that Veno sitting in the jungle is that you have nowhere to actually hit your own jungle creeps if you can't farm. So now Trixie is like really far behind on his Blink Dagger, and he's the one who has to make the plays, and he doesn't have the item to make the plays, and that just puts more pressure on Koikfa, which, you know, the more pressure you're putting on the players, the more likely they are to make a mistake. But they are grouping up here in mass bottom lane. Forev's
gotta
got
be
the Shadow
careful.
Blade here.
Yapsol's got a fresh Blink Dagger. And this is something which hasn't been revealed to NIP, so the pressure on Koikfa is so high. Forev is right on top of him. They don't know. They don't have vision. The double RP will be there. Forev's got Skewer, pulling him back. The stun, the burn. They just pop like a top. Koikfa under the tower. He'll get illuminated down. You're able to get a little bit back with the Invoker falling, but Era's on the run, and Hani has to do work. The Nova combining up with the Veil. They know the tick is too much. Forev will TP back to base. Fighter as well as limping away. Forever still ticking. He's gonna survive. He went out of 19, 17. The poison sting's still on him. He
Oh.
dies! The tick is too much. That's not even an Aghanim Scepter. That's just the Veil, Nova, and level 4 Gale.
He even bought raindrops to try to mitigate the damage from the Gale tick. That was actually next level, and he still died.
Nip not done. They're coming back in again. Yabsor's throwing down the sentry ward. Trixie. He keeps doing this where he triggers Spike Carapace really early. Just running through an open field triggers Spike Carapace.
Maybe a little bit of nerves. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, at this point, Nip have to continually do this, right? They apply pressure, they know RP's down. The Mag's not even alive, so that also helps. It's just really annoying because if the Coddle is up, it makes the push in of itself very difficult. The only thing that can safely hit the tower is like the Lifestealer with Rage or some Veno wards. Storm's not really great siege. Ogre and Nyx are in the same boat. They're gonna find
He's gonna keep her the light. With the Gale, Adam will tick. There's nothing that keeps him alive here. Illumina's trying to help out,
Okay.
but Forev's called out of position. He had no RP. That's 45 seconds without a Magnus or a Keeper of the Light. And if NIP feel pressured enough, they may try and do some chip damage up. Or they could just rotate mid and bring down that tier 1 tower finally.
Yeah, that tier 1 needs to die. I mean, the tier 1 is really important for being able to secure Roche, even with shrines. You just don't want to be able to get hit from multiple angles, right? So maybe they're just gonna go straight for it.
Yeah, looks
They
to be.
can't really kill it that fast, though. They need a Deso on the Lifestealer. Does he have it? He does. Okay. And Era just gets a kill on the bottom lane. Yapsor. Looks like it was another Vendetta gank.
Yeah, it looks to be. My eyes were over towards the mid because I'm trying to watch Fada's movement. He's jumping around, he's creep skipping out. It's being a real pain in the butt to Ninjas in Pajamas, but Nip were looking at both Roshan and the tier 1 tower, and the fact the tier 1 tower wasn't taken, it's kind of flagged a couple of warning bells for Bears, hence the Sunstrike into the pit to scout out NIP's movement. But Keeper of the Light's coming up from the side. His Ghost Form's coming off cooldown too, so if he wants to just drag in the AM, he can do it. But that Sentry Ward Plague Ward battle is doing his thing, so there's no real easy vision, except for the fact the Sentry Ward went down. And there goes the Aegis Immortal. Magnus under that sentry. It was deep warding the Observer Ward, but he may not have realized exactly where it was. So threw his own life away. Farda's pressure on top will force NIP to return.
And this is going to be like the story of the game now. It's going to be Fata split pushing lanes, being a nuisance, because right now NiP have the teamfight advantage and having the Aegis on Qualifier. That's probably one of the biggest chances they've been given this whole game. Like, Forev just died, what, 2 or 3 times in a row?
Uh-huh.
And, like, without getting a good RP, like, look at how freaking deep Quake is right now. He really wants to jump because he knows, like, if I get these picks, we get 2 towers.
Yapzor's so close, but it's the Invoker. So there's your jump forward. Yapzor will create a little bit of space for the pickup, but Era raged up. Nothing was going to stop him from beating into the Invoker. And another hero with no buyback, but he denies it. The Force Spirit's there, so they don't get everything they're hoping for. But Trixie, a wrap around the back. The Sentry wards see too much. And NiP understands that. Won't stop them from doing their push. Forev gets rid of the Observer Ward, flags their positioning because he did get rid of this, however. But the smoke wasn't going to last much longer. Sorry, his invis from Shadowblade wasn't going to last much longer.
I mean, the Invoker kill with a 10-second BKB is huge. Not being able to get the tower, though, they're going to find Fata. He's got Manta.
Have they got enough control?
He might actually be in trouble.
Honey can throw down more
He
Plague
doesn't have a
Lords.
TP.
With no TP, he's
Yeah,
dead.
he's dead. Yeah, he's definitely dead.
He tried to mana void Koi for the last moment.
He manted like super early there. I thought he was gonna like blink away and wait for the storm to like ball after him, because that's how you bait the fight, right? You make the storm use all his mana by blinking away, and then you just mana void him when he's standing next to the Veno and hope that you can at least pop the Aegis before you go down. Because if your TP's down, you can't. I don't think you manta before blink if you're gonna get galed. That's just like, I mean, obviously you can't break it, but it's the only chance I think you have of getting a counter kill.
Trixie now worked out. He should have known that anyway, because they put an Observe Ward on top of the Radiant Sentry. And it got dewatered by the creep wave. Forev's on the move out again. Really trying to make the most out of this Shadowblade of his. If it wasn't pinged out before, it's pinged out now.
He's moved out with that Shadowblade a ton, and every single time he dies. Like, I don't think he's had a successful movement with that except for the bottom fight when he got the RP on the 2 heroes
so is
inside
that
of
the
the
scary
woods.
fact when he then moves out with a gem and he's died every single time?
I'm scared for him, Toby.
He's looking at Era. And now, Blink, RP.
Oh.
Oh no! Oh! Balls!
That is about the appropriate response.
Skewering the rage target. Era gets forced off away from the Sunstrike as well. With RP down, it's practically a guaranteed tier 2 tower. Because they just don't have the initiation, even the Lincoln Sphere, to protect Quake for more than the Aegis Immortal is already doing. The advantage is he didn't lose the gem. He didn't die. But now, Blink, Skewer,
Okay.
he actually pulls in Honey. Honey actually gets put in a better position to get a great ulti off. They have to trigger the Shrine for the regeneration, because Forev is continuously ticking.
He's like dying through the shrine.
Yep. Oh, there's still the Nova. Remember, this isn't even Ags yet, but you're losing more. Now 3-4-3. Adam has gone down.
The Deep Pusher's dead.
Yep. Life is
I mean,
hard.
they don't have the Veno, but they don't have RP either. Ah, man, it's really hard for them to go high ground, though. This is like one of the, I think the biggest weakness of NiP's lineup is it is so hard for them to hit tier 3s that even with the Coddle being dead, knowing RP is down, they still can't really breach the high ground because they just don't have sustain, right? There's no hero that keeps the push going.
Like they need the picks. Like that's the only way to make it work. But how do you get picks from inside the base? Especially when bears pick up a gem at this point, you can't even keep a ward inside. But maybe they can do that with a gem. They find Trixie. Trixie's by Carapace, half a second. He can let it go now. I'll get a little bit of a stun onto the Invoker, but no one else is there to help him. So they get the kill.
Yeah. I mean, the main point is, like, they do need picks, but they don't have any hero that can heal. So, like, there's no healing ward, there's no urn even, I think, on the side of NiP. And that's... Yeah. Oh, they do have an urn, never mind.
You have the Greaves from Veno.
Yeah, that's about it, though. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not really a lot of sustain, just having one item. Whereas you want something that keeps everyone at a high level of HP and that you can continue to hit the tier 3 and not feel like you're just going to get, like, counter-killed, but... Yeah, more time here for Fata, still sitting atop of the net worth. He's got the Manta done. He's going for the Basher into what I assume is going to be the straight Abyssal. And once he gets that, game is hard.
Bears are forcing the issue on bottom. Honey and Era are not really prepared for this just yet. There's not a mass amount of wards. Trixie's going to move forward, but remember, observers and sentries have been ripe everywhere on the map, so he knows he can't move forward. He also knows there's a gem on the Magnus. I think they're cutting through the tree line to make it so the sentry can see him. Oh, that's
There's full vision up here.
Where's the RP?
Dire's bottom tower.
I'm wondering too if this is when you want to see Hani putting more aggressive play chords.
Well, he's trying to be a smoke breaker, just in case, you know, there was a wraparound.
They find Alpha Wolf only. And now retreats.
That Alpha Wolf's worth 125 gold, man. But yeah, this is the moment in the game where the AM is getting really close to a point where he's going to become too much to handle. Because, I mean, the Storm doesn't have the items to kill Anti-Mage, right? He had to itemize to not die to the Anti-Mage by just buying the Lincolns and ensuring that he's not going to get mana void in the middle of his team and just become like a bomb and just kill everybody. But yeah, it's going to get harder before it gets easier for Nip.
Is there something on the... No. I was wondering how long the Aghanims would take. But Keeper of the Line's only just got a 4-star. He's not as lucky as the Rubik, who has a 60 gold per minute as the level 10 talent.
Yeah, but he also has that Illuminate spell. It's pretty good. Although in this game, it's actually kind of difficult for him to push out waves because there is a Nyx and a Storm. So it's putting a lot of just idle pressure on him whenever, you know, Koikfa and, you know, even Era and Trixie, if any of them are off the map, he's scared, right? He doesn't want to sit in lane and use a blast and creep vision. He'll just die.
Trixie is a fraction of a second too late to find Yapsor TPing out.
They just
and
lost their tier 2 for no reason.
yeah, Bears the jump in the RP! Oh, record the 2 big cores. They need to create some space. Storm Spirit's going to go down. A long time on the sidelines, 40 seconds, but the Animage will lose his own life for the cause. In comes Hani, not in range for a Nova. Can't force off down there either. Syndra's just trying to stall them up. The Sentry Wall is down. They see their target. The Sunstrike off target as well. Syndran backs up and stays alive as Firo has to go invis. Era has himself a double kill, but Firo, he's going to open it up. A fresh Sentry Ward. They see the Invoker, but he's out of range, out of vision. And on the run, it's him and Rubik who are the last ones left alive, and that's because Rubik was never involved in that engagement.
Man, that Lifestealer is gigantic. He just completely shredded Era during that fight. Like, the item progression on the AM, like, he goes for the BKB, and I get it. There's a lot of disable. You don't really want to put yourself in a situation where you have to worry about things like Veno ulti and stuff like that, even though you have that, like, built-in spell shield. He wants to be able to sit in the fight and hit heroes during an RP. Like, that's the biggest thing for him right now, but it's actually becoming difficult for him to itemize because just how farmed Era actually is. He does an insane amount of damage, and if you don't buy something that protects you from physical DPS, like a butterfly or something like that, he's gonna just maul you to death every single fight.
Loving this movement from Trixie. They found an Invis rune, so he can just start with a stun without worrying about losing the damage from the Vendetta and having Lifestealer inside of him. The only target they have to be careful of is Forev, but where's that gem?
Gold for me.
Actually, where is that gem? Who's got that gem?
I was on the high ground a second ago.
Oh, it's back at base. It's back at the Dire base.
Yeah. Alright, so Roshan's up again. I think Bears actually need to fight this. It's very difficult, but giving the Storm another Aegis is... I don't know if they can afford to do that.
And they can't, and they know it. So they're going for the wraparound. They're trying to come from behind, but
They're gonna be too late.
Syndra's in the smoke block position as well. They're just going down mid.
Yeah,
They've got a creep wave with them, so if they want to try and beat the tier 3 tower, potentially they can. The tier 2 tower will be the easier objective, a more achievable one right now.
Dire's middle
Yeah,
tower
it's
is
also further away from the rush bit. They're gonna go for the flank TP to Shrine.
Oh, Koifa, jump forward. He doesn't have vision. Now you'll see Adam. Lifestealer can still pop out. Fighter in the neighborhood, blinks to the tree line. Say goodbye to Alpha Wolf. And the chase keeps going. Fighter is right next to him. But Koifa's out of mana. He has the Aegis of the Immortal. And that's great, but it's not giving him the mana he wants right now. In fact, Trixie, he's the one who's more on the front lines. But everyone is gone. All the Bears are bailed. Invoker is TP top, and he's trying to turn this into a split game.
I mean, that's really all they can do. Problem with splitting against Nip is that for the Invoker at least, it's very, very hard to live. That's why he had to buy BKB. Like, it's the only item that's going to allow him to potentially escape a gank if he wants a side lane push. So he was forced into buying it. It does make him, again, extremely susceptible to Lifestealer. Like, he will get, like, 2-shot. He's got 7 armor.
But your only other choice is either go for these ganks yourself, which they may have an opportunity for, as Invoker initiated on OK. No. Yapsol's in the neighborhood. He has a stolen Spike Carapace. And what else did he just get? Nope, it's just jump up for Rev, skewer him back, look for something. The Spike Carapace causing problems. No Blink Dagger available. And now actually the stun stolen by Yapsol. He's going to miss it with the Mana Void and Shockwave. As is enough damage to find the kill. Almost a 400 gold worth Nyx Assassin. And he's the lowest net worth for the Dire side, almost. Synderen takes the cake on that one.
Yeah, but he's actually not even doing that bad, if you think about it. He's still got his Force Staff, he's still doing better than a Coddle. And it's not often that you see an Ogre with more net worth than a Coddle just by virtue of, you know, spamming Illuminate. But again, it's tough. You know, 3-4-3 can't walk to a lane, because he's terrified. Quake is playing off the map all the time, Trixie's playing off the map all the time. Either of those heroes just eat him. So it's interesting how the game kind of played out, because the itemization for the side of Bears became extremely difficult just because of the hybrid damage that, you know, Nip have. Forcing the AM to buy a BKB in this game is really good for the Lifestealer. You don't want the AM buying a Butterfly, you don't want the AM buying like that Abyssal Blade at a faster point in the game, because that's when he starts kiting you out in fights, and that's when he can actually jump you. But as long as you keep him like lower itemization and forcing him to buy like these defensive things, it works great.
Oh, Fada thought he was actually going to be the primary target. But Adam was sitting right on top of a Dire Observer board. Quick jump out, and Qualifier gets the easiest Bloodstone charge of his life.
Funny part is, he's still only got 9. He's not even back to ground 0 on his Bloodstone yet.
He dies at the start of every engagement.
That's true.
It's still Era that's doing all the work.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got a tremendous amount of net worth, though. He's still ahead of Firo. And the AM is not really that far ahead at all of anyone. I feel like they picked the Magnus and the AM together, but I haven't... You know, I've seen Fata empowered a handful of times, but I haven't really seen them playing around it that much, if that makes sense. Like, Fata's not, like, farming only by 4F to get empowers and stuff like that, so I don't know how often they've run this, but...
But there's no other way to do it, right, with the Anti-Mage. At this point of the game, he needs to be the one split pushing instead of the Invoker, so the Invoker can farm in the safety of his own place, because Anti-Mage is just more maneuverable.
Yeah, I mean, even with as maneuverable as he is, though, he still runs the risk of dying. Like, I assume that, yeah, Abyssal's on the way for the Lifestealer, and once that comes out, they'll be able to kill the AM too.
The Aghanim's is up for Hani. We already saw the issues of the tick for Bears. Issues just got a lot stronger. Their advantage is Hani's only repositioning item is a 4-staff. It isn't a Blink Dagger. That would be scarier. Are they gonna... Is this almost a trade-off? Like, the tier 2 tower is being lost on the top, but in bottom, Ninjas in Pajamas are not here. They are not ready to defend. Fortification can buy them a little bit more time, and here comes your first TP in from Trixie. Misses the stun over on Fada, so Fada will turn around. Here's the damage coming. Now more TPs are arriving. Illuminate spam is being a bit of a pain in the butt, but they'll get out, and Storm Spirit, long jump forward, right over the top of him, into the middle of Bears. Have they got any stun, any disable? Yeah, he's got the BKB. They'll pop out. They try and hide. The dust triggered off by Trixie. They'll catch out the Magnus with no RP. This is a fight the Bears cannot take, or if they can, it's Sparta with the cleave. They bring through 2, and Qualifier, he's on the run. He has the Aegis Immortal. He's also got a crap ton of disable, pulling back in Sparta. Trixie wants more, but he's got no mana left to fight with. So Fira puts up the ice wall, looking to play around Hani, who still is holding on to that Nova of his. But Bears are happy with what they've got. They've backed out.
That was a super sick combo. Like, they just blew up that Lifestealer after Rage went down. Fira was waiting for it that whole time, just gave him the meatball dunk, and he just exploded. That was very nicely done. If they didn't, like, get that Lifestealer kill, this game was going to be an absolute nightmare, I think, for Bears to be able to win. But with that, you know, it's putting the Anti-Mage really close to his Butterfly. Era going for the Abyssal Blade. He doesn't really have the inventory space right now to buy an MKB. He'll probably just get rid of the, I guess, the Armlet at this point. But yeah, it's actually a power spike that Fata desperately needs in the fights. Because when he popped BKB, oh, actually, yep, sorry.
Yeah,
I think you're dead.
Qualifier trying, but Yabs will stop all lightning. He's got more speed than anyone else.
Qualifia's
The Sun
dead.
Strike! That's a minute. That's a minute with no
man.
Qualifier.
Nip, not like this. Don't throw away the game.
They went down. They actually lose control of the lanes now, right? Like, it.
Yeah. This is what we call mom spaghetti, Toby. It's just everywhere right now.
My mum was neat. Oh.
I don't know. I just feel like you don't make those plays unless you're either really sure you can get the kill or you're just a little bit nervous and you're like kind of unsure. But that Solar Crest that Yapsor had actually kept him alive. That thing is such good effective HP for supports at this stage in the game when your base armor is like ridiculously low and you're playing against a Storm Spirit who doesn't have a Bloodthorn or an MKB. I mean, he's building towards one now, the MKB, but he's not going to have it for a little while.
They're coming for a Rax, man. This Bears maneuver, the butterfly up on Anti-Mage, put him on the front line. Sure, he's going to drop the Dominator for now. They're going to find a better target.
Nice.
The skewer is Hani. Hani 4-staffed in. He really wants to let this Nova go on multiple targets, so he'll Gale, and now Nova. That's the death of the Keeper of the Light. He can't stand here, so even if Hani dies, he knows he gets something in return. Maybe not so great giving Plague Wards over to Yapsol, but it's better than giving him Nova.
That was really well played by Hani. He got like the maximum effectiveness out of that. The only reason Yapsor didn't get hit is because he stole Ball Lightning and balled away from the Nova. So if he hadn't done that, there would have been like 2 or 3 heroes low on HP. That might have even been enough, honestly, to kind of delay the push coming in from Bears anyway. They do still have an RP, but they don't have vision of Nip's high ground, so Nip going for the wraparound.
They're coming out to fight,
Scan
and Qualifier
hits.
picked up a Demon Edge. He doesn't have buyback while he's got this.
He didn't have buyback last time either. But they want it. They know the Coddle's dead.
The Observer and Sentry Ward saw the other Sentry Ward being placed, and now Nip will realize the jig is up. Defense time. And now
That's a very tense moment there.
Yapsol's turning himself into Hani. He's going to start farming with Plague Wars to find his levels.
Yeah, dude, why not? Get that Ghost Scepter, let's go. That item is actually unbelievably value against Nip's team. Like, no one has a Diffusal Blade. The Magical Burst isn't really super scary, I guess, outside of maybe the Veno, but the Veno you're just going to tick out anyway, so it's not like having a Ghost Scepter is going to be the reason why you died. It'll most likely be the reason why the Lifestealer or the Storm can't just blow you up. They are both going to have MKBs relatively soon, though, and that does kind of put a damper on the Butterfly purchase from Fata. It's kind of unfortunate they weren't really able to abuse that item timing, because when he purchased that item, no one on the side of Nip was even close, and they just weren't able to really utilize that timing as much as maybe they wanted to. And now with the dual MKBs, Fata's still going to just melt.
Yeah. So he needs to play the dodge evade game, unless they know they can lock down. And with the Abyssal Blade, he'll have a better chance for that lockdown. What would also be good is if Farev's able to get into a good position, let off the RPs. I haven't seen actually an RP in probably 10-15 minutes.
It's so hard though, man. The Plague Wards, the Vision from the Nyx, the Storm as well.
BKB. Trixie has
They
a
gotta
friend
run.
sitting inside of him, but that's
Gotta run.
that's the 8-second BKB down. Invoker's sitting on a 5-second BKB.
You can tell, man, when you BKB like that, there is definitely some nerves going on.
No risk. Doesn't matter when it's that low anyway, right? I suppose they still have to wait another 50 seconds before he has it up. And none of the waves,
8
like,
seconds.
you still don't have Nip with any kind of lane advantage. It doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
but they always pick lineups like this. They pick lineups that just have pretty much no wave clear whatsoever. They very much emphasize the laning phase, but they don't emphasize being able to like depush or get map control that way. They always want to go for fights.
Smoke gank time for NIP. Error. Infested off cooldown in 2 seconds time. And
This
there
Rosh is dying fast.
There is a TP coming forward. Yamsel puts on the Plague Ward. It's Roshan almost down. In fact, he is down. Tornado. It picks up Synderen. Ogamajai up and towards the air. The bigger one is actually the Keeper of the Light being picked off. Koifa triggers the BKB. A big RP.
Oh.
It'll connect. The Sunstride's coming down as well. The cleave damage. Vada's doing it. Error is gone. Koifa, he wants the pieces, but Yamsel protected by his Ghost Scepter. Stole Ball Lightning, and he's trying to play the better Storm Spirit, but he can't find Koifa over in the tree lines. Hani will fall. He did get his Nova off as well as the Gale so far. He's not the healthiest man in the world, but buybacks will be forced here.
Yeah, Source is looking at these 2 gems. He's like, what do I do? There's 2 gems. I don't have room for this.
He put Solar Crest into his infantry. He's going to get recalled.
Yeah, that's the Coddle He actually died at the very beginning of the fight, but he's got the respawn talent, so he just revived really fast. They're gonna recall the AM as well. I guess he's swapping out for items. Yeah, he bought Boots of Travel. He's got BKB and Dominator still in his inventory with the Aegis. So 44 seconds left on the Lifestealer. Let's see if they can get that Rex.
Possibility is there. Tower reduces inside. Sparta, one quick hit will take care of it. Synderin doesn't really know what he wants to go on. The Gale connect on the anti-mage, but they're just throwing around the Ogre like a ragdoll when the Deafening Blast and Sunstrike and Illuminate all connect at the perfect time. There is no other option but to buy back on the Ogre. Qualifier trying to clean up the lane. The illusions of Fun is doing some work now. Trixie with his stun. Anti-Mage need to burn him down. Remember, he's got the Aegis Immortal, so everything they're committing to him right now, it can all just be undone. Hani jumps forward. The Gale lets the Nova go. That's a big ultimate. It is 1 minute only on cooldown, so it's not that huge. And they get the BKB out from Fada once again. That's now down.
And the BKB.
He just passed it off. He's thrown it to his stash. He doesn't care about it anymore.
Yeah, it's a good BKB though. If it can preserve your Aegis, and then you can walk down the middle lane and get that tier 3 with the Aegis still in your inventory, that's like the ideal situation. Because then you don't have to worry about, okay, well I'll just die in BKB after I respawn. Having the Aegis in your inventory is much more important than the BKB charge.
Alright, so top melee Rax is down. The first Raxing of the game happened at around the 44-minute mark. It took a while.
Yeah, but just look at the net worth difference now, Toby. Like, the AM is now towering over anybody on the side of Nip, where before he was barely like 2k net worth over either one of them. And that's the problem. It's like, the AM needs to be playing from very far ahead to kind of function just by nature of what items he buys, like having the Battle Fury, the Empower, you know, you just farm fast. Nip, we're keeping up with him on both of their cores almost the entire game. This is probably the first time where Nip scores are starting to be behind of where the AM and the Invoker actually are. And that's not a good sign.
No, they need kills to make it work. That's why they're looking in towards the jungle, in towards the tree line. Fiero, he just went invis. Have they got the vision? Fiero with a BKB starts to TP. There's no badge.
No badge.
Era wasn't even attacking him at the point, but Fada's in the neighborhood, so an extra stun. Era's looking at him, but it's Trixie. He's the man in trouble. The jump down, no spike Capra's available, out of mana, lost the gem, but Hani, a great Nova. That should be the guaranteed kill on Forever, but he's still going to throw
RP.
out. Maybe with the RP, he'll end up surviving. Fada's in here, can't mana void because Koifa jumps up and they find Fiero. So the Keeper of the Light as well as the Invokers down. Yapso and Forever will also take a fall. It's a triple kill for Hani. It's the Venomancer doing work. And Fada trying to run, but he's got no movement speed. He has the Aegis Immortal. Invoker will buy back and try and create a little bit of space, but they need lockdown. Synderin has no mana. He doesn't have it available, so Fada blinks in. He's hiding in the tree line. He's an inch away from the Gematrucite. Goes deeper into the jungle. And then gets recalled out by the Keeper of the Light.
Has fallen.
Honey, I think you need that gem, bro.
Man, that ulti from Honey was so good. Hit like almost everyone on the team. They forced the cheese out of the Magnus, and he kind of had to RP at a suboptimal time. Like, yeah, he hit the two heroes, but during that point, Fata was disabled, so he wasn't able to hit. So both Hani and I think it was Qualifier actually who got RP'd together, which is actually a solid pairing of heroes to get. There was just no damage. So RP goes out, no one gets hit. Veno ult is like ticking everybody down. Everyone on the team dies except for the anti-mage, obviously, because he's the only one with magic resist, and being left alone against all those heroes is not going to be favorable for you.
Man, at the end of the day, still like, okay, yeah, it wasn't a great fight for Bears. They did take out the top racks, so the range ranks is now fully done. And if you look at the swing in the gold graph, what they gained from the previous fight up on top was already so massive that the fight on bottom, it hurts, but it's not critical. It keeps it just in pajamas ahead in the experience gain. They're sitting about 8,000 in front, but we're also reaching the point of the game where almost everyone's going to get level 25 soon, so it won't matter as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true, but I'm looking at an AM who's not really got a lot of choices left in regards to what items he can get. And I'm looking at Qualifier and I'm thinking, okay, that guy can actually buy like a whole nother item. I mean, I guess the MKB is going to be the choice for him. He's not going to go back for the Bloodthorn, doesn't want to be more of a hindrance in the way of getting mana voided, but I still feel like Nip's team in the ultra late game phase is on paper still just a little bit better, unless Forev's like bringing amazing RPs to the table.
Yeah.
And that's a rough place to be in, because you need vision for good RPs, you need to be patient, and Plague Wards are dicks. That's all you need to know.
So easy. Don't get slapped by the Plague Wards.
It sounds easy, right?
Yeah,
Not
it
that
really
easy.
does. It really isn't. Fada jumping forward, straight up Abyssal Blade. They want Cinderin, and they've got him.
No buyback.
85 seconds without Cinderin. Nipper not in a position. In fact, they were coming out looking for their own gank inside the Dire jungle. The advantage is pushing through the top. It doesn't gain you a Rax. The mid lane and the bottom lane are still going the way of NIP.
Oh, that'll take no time at all. Fata can bottom, get recalled back, and then the rest of his team can push mid. There's not really anything that Nipper gonna want to do during this downtime. If they're showing the Lifestealer top as well, so they know for a fact that the AM would be safe to TP bottom, and that's exactly what he's gonna do. So they can walk down mid, or they can just follow the AM, whichever, doesn't really matter. They can get the other shrine as well, and they're just perfectly safe for the next 40 seconds.
Done. All right, defense. They're going to start spamming at the Plague Wars, and you're seeing Honey with the aggressive positioning on him too. These are for the Magnus. You could potentially try and defend the line by just making a perimeter around your tower. But for now, it's keeping him on interrupting Blink Daggers. Fada, he's just going to the front lines, attacking into the melee Rax. They can't really slow him down. Trixie already just stunned. Fada triggers his BKB and actually gets the Abyssal Blade off with the RP combined error. He was able to rage in time, so Qualifier jumps forward, looking to control up a little bit more. Does he have enough to kill off Forever with the Mana Void? You've lost your Venomancer, but they're all coded again in guns. How much damage is there? Maybe a little bit more when you actually have the stolen Nova, which was there for Yapzor, but the survivability is still too much. Qualifier jumps forward, they won't find anything more. Yamsor is hiding in the tree line. But the tier 4 towers are under attack. They have to go back to defend. But 108 seconds without the Invoker on the field.
That was a very nice combo again, though. Like on the lifesteal, the first time, they force Era to buy back. They get the RP. Firo, like, perfectly times his Meteor Deafening to make sure that Era drops there. And committing the buyback, I think, is enough economical damage for Bears to be satisfied for the time being, because they don't want the Lifestealer finishing up the Abyssal Blade. That's going to be something else that's going to put a lot more pressure on Fata during the team fights. And you saw, even with Solar Crest, that Lifestealer is chunking him. He doesn't care about BKB. He doesn't care about, you know, your butterfly, whatever. He's going to kill you if he gets to hit you.
Yep. They're coming. NIP, they're running down the mid. They would love to get an extra pick, but the primary thing is to level up the Rax. Qualifier can also join them. He didn't finish up the MKB. He bought the BTs.
They're getting ratted, though.
So we can join the fight. Yeah, you've got Fada coming in through the bottom. But maybe this just becomes a GG push.
He's going to get this.
Does this become a GG push then? Like, you're losing your side lane of Rax for your mid. This doesn't look like the greatest trade.
This isn't even a
Is it a push?
Is it a trade at all?
It's a loss.
It's not even a trade. They're going to run.
It's a
They're
loss.
actually losing their whole base.
Oh, Yabsor, he can actually get the stun. He'll cancel Trixie's TP. Trixie can't go back. The anti-mage will be here in the fight. The Storm Spirit's not close enough, so now I don't think they've got a choice. It's a turn and fight.
God.
They have to make this work. The range creep, it gets cancelled. That was the BT to the Storm. Qualifier can't come in either. It's a TP catastrophe.
He can TP back bottom if he wants. The Coddle can just bring it back.
Oh, Hani, it's a good ultimate. Fada will try and take his life. Hani went in there with the Gem of True Side. They're pulling in the anti-mage. Force Staff can push Fada a little bit further away. Hani takes the Mana Void. So they'll burn through that one. Era is still trying to take out this damn mid-Rax. The Sunstrike will connect, doing some decent damage, and Fortification stops Air from doing any damage. Fada forward. Here comes the Tornado. No one will catch the ride. They are all falling back, and Fada in once again. Trixie with a Spike Arrows with the RP. It catches Trixie with a Deafening Blast, and there she is again. A perfect void. A triple kill for Fada. This may seal the deal. Hani is down. An ultra kill for Fada. This is beyond disastrous. The TP's the bottom. It's the corpses at the bottom ranks of Dire side. The only buybacks they had, they've used. Fada is forcing Megas, and there is nothing NIP can do to stop it.
Oh man, that was a pretty intense series of events. I mean, they're going to go for the kill here. They should be able to pick off Firo. He's got no BKB.
But Fada's coming in. He's got a Abyssal Blade. The stun from Trixie. Create any space you've got. You do bring down the Invoker, so 96 seconds without him. A quick Spike Carapace. Trixie for more stuns for Rev. No Blink Skewer. Venomancer is up in 5 seconds time. He'll have the Nova available. It may just be enough damage. They can keep Bears off the tier 4 towers. Maybe. A lot of maybes, a lot of ifs, a lot of hope.
They got no wave clear, Toby. How are they going to kill these creeps?
Qualifier. That's it. Remnant jump, remnant jump.
All right, your life stealer's got a solid armor and buy a Battle Fury or a
Dire's
Maelstrom or
middle
something.
tower is under attack.
That series of events was so crazy because when the TP got canceled, that's a refresher, by the way.
There's 2 refreshers. Anti-Mage and Magnus.
I mean, yeah, why not, right?
Yeah. At this point, you may even just be happier with the double BKBs and the double Mana Void.
But he actually still has 7,000 gold after having bought a refresher.
Decent game.
He's gonna join the 10K club, Toby. He's gonna have 10,000 gold when the game ends, and a full inventory.
Is that really the menu I want to be keeping up?
I think so.
Actually, buybacks might be a little bit more important. Let's keep that on the board instead.
Nah. It's just something funny. I mean,
it's not about
realistically
the blink.
speaking, like,
Oh, the gem. They
Nip's
saw
only
Trixie.
chance is to
Oh, darn!
No, the
He
gem.
came in to scout out Roshan, but the Gem of True Sight was on for Rev. A minute and a half without your Nyx Assassin.
Man, I really looked like Nip for a little while. Actually had this game in the bag. They were getting like so many good picks. Their item progression was great. Their cores were ahead for so long.
Venom was
And
doing
then-
so much work of the fight, they couldn't sustain through it, Bears.
Yeah, the Veno was actually like, after they started kind of losing their footing a bit, the Veno is what actually kept them in the game because he was the one who was getting all the kills. Like the 2 backline heroes were getting hit by Poison Nova a lot, and then 343 dies, no more sustain on your push. Really hard to go high ground, especially into the Veno wards. But yeah, now it's all they can do to just keep their base alive against the Megas.
They're coming in. Bears can smell it. A rematch that they wanted with Alliance. They're the ones who are waiting for him in the lower bracket final. If they can
just
get there,
refreshed for
now
BKB.
Qualifier jumps in, the BKB, the RP however, it catches Kai, he needs to get that Nova off, he's going down, he gets it off just in time, the second RP holding Qualifier in position, a straight buyback, Adam is low, so is Fira, Era, he needs to do more damage, there's your jump forward, trying to kill off that Invoker, he's so low, the Sunstride's coming in here, he's going to die to it, they're gone, there's no one left to hold it, this is the game right now, GG, 55-23, and Bears will take it and advance themselves forward to the next round where they will face Alliance, the team which has defeated them every time they've faced up against them here in the qualifier.
My goodness, that game. That was